Hey, hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm sitting in the chair, so you know what that means. I'm just kidding, no, but this is going to be my third episode, or my third video in this series called Telling My Truth, which means that there's two other videos in prior to this video. So there's a first explaining kind of like a foundation of what I'm talking about and what's happening. A second video which was a lot more personal and emotional and kind of actively talking about what I'm going through, what's happening in my life. And today's video is going to be a little bit more of a timeline, kind of like what's happening, what's happened, as well as a little bit more educational in my opinion, because I'm trying to explain things and certain certain words and certain things that are happening. This is completely my life. This is my story. This is me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, you know? Do your own research is what I'm trying to say. Don't quote me. Yeah. I'm a lot more calm today, but I know that getting into this, like opening the door is gonna like, the feelings are gonna come out. So I'm trying to like stay calm. So I'm learning to validate myself. I'm learning to trust my intuition. I'm learning to be my own person. And what I mean by that, yes, I am 27 years old, I know. But I've grown up in a abusive household. I was abused as a child. I was abused as a young adult. And I'm actively seeing those patterns of abuse continuing, and I'm no longer accepting that. I'm no longer tolerating that. I've said many, many times, do not treat me this way. Do not do this. I've even begged for common, respect. And it's not going to happen. I've seen the cycle of abuse over and over again. And I could no longer unsee what I see now. So before the people in the comments or my family come see this shit and be like, but look at everything we did for you. Look at how we got you this apartment. Look at the groceries I bought you last week. I know, and I'm grateful for that. But that doesn't give you the right to hold it over my head or, how do I say this? Like, but look, I did this and this and this for you. What are you going to do for me? Or why are you talking all this shit about me if I've helped you? I'm like, I'm not talking shit. Talking shit is like, why are you so fucking ugly? Or why are you such a, insulting you or lying about you? That's what that is. That's talking shit. What I'm doing is literally what I said. I'm telling you my truth. I'm telling my story of the things that actually have happened to me. If you guys want to believe it or be oblivious or ignorant to the fact that it did happen, it is what it is, that's fine. It's your guilt and it's your shame that you have to deal with, not me. And that's exactly first topic of the day. The guilt. The conditioned fucking guilt. When you reach a certain age, like me for example, when I was a young kid, my family's dynamic, I already talked about it, was the foundation was never secure. My dad was an alcoholic since a young age, before they even got married, before they even had kids, before I came along. So it's kind of like we all knew what it was with my dad. This is who he is, this is what it is, it's not going to change. Remember that. This is who they are, they're not going to change. Remember that. I fucking learned that, finally. So, yes, alcoholic father, whatever reasons, it is what it is. Okay, my mom, again, I'm not a fucking doctor, but in my opinion, she has narcissistic traits. She acts like a narcissist. There's certain things that she does that, if walks like a duck, talks like a duck. Exactly. So, yeah, the foundation of my family was, not even secure to begin with. But yeah, I got the blame. What I mean by that is the fact that as the family grew, I'm the third child. As the family grew and became, a family and a bigger well-known thing, because I have a big family. Everybody knows everybody. Especially where I live, everybody knows everybody, even then. Basically, it was... what is it? The beginning of the end before it even started, if you will. So, yeah. Basically, I have two older siblings. I already talked about that. They were a lot older than me. So we all had different childhood experiences. And that's completely valid. Whatever happened to them, happened to them. Whatever happened to me, happened to me. And people cannot dictate or change that. What happened is what happened, you know. Even if you try to sugarcoat it or, cover it up or belittle it, it's not, the reality is it's what's done is done. The damage is done, you know? And that's what I'm trying to explain. So, the conditioned guilt, yes. So, I was seeing this child, and it's a long story. I wasn't really planned. I wasn't really expected, and I think it's my opinion at the end of the day. But I think that's what kind of made the dynamic the way it is because it wasn't, you know. Let me try to say this the right way. It's kind of like cause and effect because they had a surprise or a special me happen. It's like, oh shit, like my mom was so close to like getting away from this marriage, getting out of this toxic, abusive dynamic that she lived in. But then along came me, surprise, and that was no longer an option. So she's told me time and time again, I stayed with your dad because I was afraid to be on my own. I didn't think I could be on my own with you. I couldn't, it's kind of like she was stuck dealing with the abuse because financially and emotionally and, it's not, it's fucking hard, dude. Like, even now in 2026 in the whole United States, not one average person can afford a 2-bedroom apartment. And that's just the reality of now. But back then, things were not always as difficult, but at the same time, like, women barely got a bank account. Women barely got to vote. Women did not have a lot of control or access or power. And I can understand where she's coming from because, like, that's not something women do. Even divorce. Women could not divorce their husbands until, like, 1970. I was born in 1999. So do you get what I'm saying? And again, it's not even, like, it's also the fucking image. Like, we all knew behind fucking closed door, like, the reality and the shit show and the fucking nightmare it was, right? But to the outside world and to family parties and to family get-togethers, everything's great. Because the image, being Hispanic, specifically Mexican and Catholic, like, there's just something about having a fucking perfect image. It's just something about, all your ducks in a row. Like, super polished, super perfect because I can't really explain it, but it is what it is. So, what I'm saying is the fact that I'm here now, it was kind of like, I think that's kind of why I got the short end of the stick, to be honest. It's kind of like, why me, Why was I made the scapegoat? Why was I given ADHD medication in 5th grade that I probably did not need? Why me? Why was I the fucking scapegoat? Why did I get the blame for all the fucking shit? If my dad's drunk and disorderly and the cops are called, somehow it's my fault that he is erratic because he didn't sleep last night. Or, I didn't sweep or mop the floor or wash the dishes. So now dad's angry and now everything, it's just, those are just examples. Like, that might not be 100% accurate, but that's an example. My mom had a bad day at work, so who's she gonna take the fucking bad day on? Me. And that was just the constant thing, right? So I grew up conditioned to fear that I've done something wrong, that no matter what I do, it's not enough. No matter what I do or don't do, I'm still gonna be the problem. And that is something that even as an adult I'm still struggling with, the conditioned guilt. Realizing that these emotions and these problems that you had were put onto me and, weighed onto me, and I had to carry them and handle it and accept it my whole fucking life without realizing I'm not even handling my own emotions. I'm not even dealing with what I have to take care of because I'm actively dealing with your shit. Yeah. Let me tell you right now, put that fucking shit down. That is not yours to fucking carry. Your name's not on it. It is not your burden. It is not your fault. You didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve that. Wow. That feels fucking good. And now that I see that pattern, I see it for what it is. I see the abuse for what it is. My family is very, very like, no, we didn't abuse you. What are you talking about? You're saying things that are not fucking true, and you're putting words in our mouth, and you're making us look like the bad guys. People, y'all, all the fuck I'm doing right now is exposing the fucking truth. I'm shedding light on what happened to me, and I'm shedding light on the reality of what it is. And I keep repeating that because that's what's happening. Literally, like, you know? So, I'm so calm and I'm so happy, but it's deep down I'm angry, and I'm so glad. I already told you guys, this part, people don't fucking heal, not because they don't want to, but because it's fucking hard. Because they have to put in the fucking work. Because you have to look at yourself in the fucking mirror and acknowledge what you did wrong. Where you have to take accountability for what you didn't know and now you know, and you have to accept, like, oh fuck, like, you know, like, this is because of this is that. And it's like, not a lot of people can take accountability, especially of their own actions, especially of their own behaviors. And that's why people give up, because it's so uncomfortable and it's so sometimes unbearable, because there's so much grief and so much pain for realizing, like, wait a minute, this was out of my control, but I didn't deserve this. Like, it's just shocking, and it's just, all those feelings have to be felt. So it's almost like a pressure valve over years and years and years, or whatever your trauma is. It has to like, you know, like, reach a point of, like, explosion before you can finally, like, feel better. Because you had no choice. If you're like surviving the trauma, you can't sit there and process and critically think, wait a minute, what is this and what's going on and what? Because you're fucking in life, like, fight or flight. Like, you have no choice. Your adrenaline is through the roof. Your heart's pounding. You can't breathe. There's no fucking second minute to fucking be like, wait a minute, did this just happen? No. Until years later, like today, when you finally start to see the pattern clearly, and you're just like, no, this is not okay. This is done. I'm done. Yeah, and that's where I'm at. I hope that makes sense. Today is June 23rd, 2026. I am officially 8 days no contact with my mom. Yeah. So that's where we're gonna transition to the update, current timeline right now. The last thing, before we go into the no contact and why, let me start setting some vocabulary so we can understand what I'm doing or what's going on. Okay. Y'all ready for this? Let me explain why my family's abusive and why I'm saying what I'm saying and my reasoning behind that, okay? So obviously I can admit to you right now 100% I am toxic. Soy tóxica. I know that, okay? But I will tell you, there's a difference between tóxica and toxic and abusive, okay? And this is it right here. It says, I'm using Gemini, so this is coming from Gemini. It says toxicity often involves unhealthy, draining, or negative behaviors, like gaslighting in a minor sense, constant criticism or emotional coldness that disrupt your peace but may not always be rooted in a systematic attempt to exert total control. So it's basically, if you want to be an asshole, be an asshole. You're toxic. It is what it is, right? Okay. But that's it. That's it. There's nothing more to that. It's so superficial. So again, anybody can be toxic. Now, here it is. Abuse. Dun dun dun. Abuse. Oh, I'm gonna cry seeing this fucking dude. Ooh, I don't want to cry. Abuse involves a systematic pattern of behavior designed to exert power and control. This includes physical abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, psychological tactics that instill cause fear, shame, or guilt to ensure compliance or subservience. Let me say that one more time. Abuse involves a systematic pattern of behavior designed to exert power and control. This includes physical, emotional, psychological tactics that instill fear, shame, or guilt to ensure compliance or subservience. So why is my family more than just toxic And why are they abusive? Because the pattern of abuse. Because of shit they keep fucking doing. The honeymoon phase, then the fucking, like, treating me like shit phase, and then the repeat. Like, it's kind of like, that's what I'm telling you. Like, you have to be so fucking aware and so pinpoint vision and, you know, wait a minute. And then it fucking it adds up to, like, oh my God. Yeah. So, these are the experiences I have. Trigger warning, I'm going to talk about physical abuse and some things that happened to me. So if you don't want to hear that, you can scroll past away by. Okay. So, physical abuse specifically for me. This includes, okay, so I was actually giving you, okay, sorry. These are different, what what qualify for. Like, I did get physically abused, and I was going to tell you why, but let me explain what it means. Basically, more vocabulary. Okay. Physical abuse. This includes the direct use of force intended to cause pain or injury, such as, and these are what I was experiencing. Okay. So, this includes direct force intended to cause pain or injury. And specifically for me, I was hit with a belt on my bottom more than once. So my dad would hit me with a belt, and it's a Mexican thing. I mean, I don't know if it's only a Mexican thing, but it's a Mexican thing where you did something wrong, or you caused a problem, or you broke something, or, you did something wrong, and it doesn't seem to matter. You're only 4, 5, 6 years old because you're a child. That doesn't matter. You did something wrong, you're going to be punished. So yes, I got hit with a belt on my bottom, and my mom was aware. She was in the room, or, she just was aware. She could have stopped it. Maybe she could have, maybe she couldn't. But you're enabling the behavior. You're accepting the abuse. It's kind of like, yes, my dad was the one physically doing it, but you're in the room watching. Therefore, you're enabling the behavior. Okay. Or another physical abuse form, specifically that I remember till this day, is being forced to kneel as punishment. So, yeah, I dead ass, I'm gonna cry. It's called inkate, like, inkate. So, when I was, again, doing something wrong, I was a kid. I still remember specifically in the kitchen, my dad would make me go on my knees. So, it's kind of like you're on your knees, but instead of sitting on your bottom, like, you're on your knees, and you're gonna sit down. Instead of sitting down, you would have to be on your knees. Kind of like you're praying. So, imagine you're praying, but you're not praying. You're just sits like there, acting like sitting like you're praying. And the longer you're there, it's very, very uncomfortable, clearly. And that's the point. It's punishment. So again, let's continue. These actions are not discipline. They are methods used to instill physical fear and enforce submission. And that's what I'm fucking talking about. Being Mexican and Catholic, I keep reiterating the religion because it's a big deal. It's kind of like hierarchy. It's kind of like the man of the house is always right. The man of the house eats first. The man of the house this. And that's what it is. It's like, being hit with the belt and being forced to, it's submissive. They want me to be little. They want me to feel less than what I'm really worth, if that makes sense. Emotional and psychological abuse. This includes behaviors like public humiliation, isolation from support systems, excessive guilt tripping, or shaming that damages your self-worth. Now this one, I can fucking tell you right now, at least 80% of fucking Hispanic households have this. Emotional and psychological abuse. You cannot fucking see what they're doing because there's no proof, there's no bruises, there's no injuries, there's nothing like that. But it fucking stays here. It fucking stays with you. And later on, you'll be wondering why do they have depression? Why do they have these immune disorders? Why do they have these sicknesses or diseases? Your body keeps a score. Okay. Verbal neglectful abuse. This can include constant degrading. Oh my God. This can include constant degrading. Degradation. I'm just going to say degrading, okay? Threatening or willfully withholding of care attention to manipulate your behavior. This can include constant degrading, threatening, or willful withholding of care attention to manipulate your behavior. You know what my mom's fucking favorite, like, abuse is? Silent treatment. Silent motherfucking treatment. When she's angry or mad because she knows she's right and she can't get her point across or she's done talking, silence. Absolute fucking silence. Like, she won't answer my calls. She won't, like, I mean, if I'm in the same room with her and I'm trying to speak to her or have a conversation, nothing. And it's like, one, you're my mother. And two, you're a grown-ass lady, dude. You're a grown-ass woman. For you to literally stop speaking in the middle of a conversation that you consider as an argument is very, very, very irritating. It's beyond irritating. It's just, yeah. So, yeah, silent treatment. And I think that's the funny thing is, dude, she loves to give me silent treatment. But when I try to establish boundaries, like I did 2 weeks ago or the other week, and she doesn't seem to get the message that I'm setting boundaries, she deadass showed up at my door and was demanding to be heard. That's why these things have led to no contact. I'm going to explain the details. Okay, so verbal, okay, we did that. Okay, control and corrosion. Corrosion is not, corrosion. No, I'm thinking of the fucking shit on cars. I'm talking about, you know what I'm trying to say. This involves the monitoring of your life, like keeping tabs on you, even from a distance, which serves to maintain a sense of surveillance and psychological entrapment. That's currently happening. Hey, yeah. Hey, I know you're watching, because you are, because I saw you on my Facebook story the other day. You can't answer my calls, but yeah, you can watch my story. Yeah, that's really true, by the way. Okay. Okay, so let's go into detail about what it is that happened. Again, more detail. So again, the physical discipline as control. The experience. Being forced to kneel for extended periods of time or being struck with a belt as a form of punishment. Why is it abuse? For those of you asking, here's your answer. Why is it abuse? This is the direct use of physical pain to enforce submission and instill fear in it. It goes beyond discipline because the primary function is to establish dominance and ensure the victim is afraid to challenge the abuser's authority. The hierarchy. Systematic surveillance. The experience. Family members monitoring your online activity and keeping tabs on your life, even from a distance or while on vacation. How's Canada, by the way? Is mom with you? Could that be why she hasn't responded or, reached out to me? It seems too good to be true for her to be so chill about no contact. Let me know. Send me a postcard. Let's see. Why is it abuse? This is a form of psychological corrosion, and control. By monitoring your movement and online presence, the abusers maintain a sense of surveillance that is intended to make you feel watched and entrapped, even when you are physically separated from them. Emotional and psychological manipulation. Ooh, I love that word. Once you fucking know and once you see the shit and you can label gaslighting, manipulation, passive aggressive, they can't control you anymore. They can't dictate you anymore. They have no power over you because you see it for what it is. It's fucking amazing, dude. It's like that fucking, what is it? Claritin D commercial. I can see clearly again. Deadass, dude. Okay, emotional and psychological manipulation. Using guilt tripping, public or private shaming, or isolating you from support systems. Why is it abuse? These tactics are specifically designed to damage your self-worth and undermine your autonomy. Autonomy. Big word right there, autonomy. Autonomy is peace, internal peace. It's like your vagus nerve and your body is immune. It's at a baseline. It's calm. It's safe. Your autonomy is intact. You are who you want to be. You have the right to freedom. Basically you grew up in a beautiful family. God is good. No harm, no foul. That's what autonomy is. I don't have that. I never had that. I'm learning to have that. Unlike general toxic behavior, which might just be a personality clash, these actions are calculated to keep you compliant and dependent on the abuser's approval. Neglect and withholding the experience. The intentional refusal of care, attention, or support to manipulate your emotions or behavior. Why is it abuse? Willful neglect is a way of exerting power, making you feel unworthy or desperate for validation. It functions as a tool to keep you in a state of insecurity so that you're easier to manage and control. How many of those can you relate to? How many of those can you sit and think, wait a fucking minute, oh my god, that was me, or that happened to me? Yeah, I hate to tell you, but you're a victim of abuse. Now that's the thing. You can either choose to be a fucking victim like I was for years and years and years, and like some people are, not naming names, but you can fucking grab it by the horns like I am and realize like, no, fuck this shit, I'm done. And do the fucking work, even though it's brutal as fuck and it's hard and it's ugly. Let me tell you something. I went no contact with my mom last year, obviously for the same reason, so this is not my first rodeo. And I have been single a very long time, but when I loved so hard that I ended up in the psych ward because of how toxic and abusive that shit was. So, and I love someone I love very much, okay? More so, I could even say I love them more than I love myself, and that's probably why I haven't dated anymore. But going no contact last year with my mom was dead ass the most gruesome, like I can't even tell you, like the most brutal heartbreak of my life. Willingly and like having no fucking choice but to decide to physically and mentally and emotionally cut ties with the person that gave birth to you, the person that made you, the person that had you. You have to cut them off for your own mental, emotional, and physical safety is tragic. So last year was so hard, dude. I did it once, and here we are. A year later, I'm doing it again. Like I said, I'm 8 days no contact. And don't get me wrong, the first couple of days, it comes in, grief will always come in waves. It's like, I've learned to, I have this tatted, it says this too shall pass. I forget that's there, but the grief comes in waves. Emotions come in waves. And if you suppress them, or you push them down, or don't acknowledge them, they're going to come back in a stronger wave, and you're going to drown. Trust me, I know. And it's like, versus just fucking, riding the wave the first time and then feeling those feelings and processing them, it's like, it's gonna fucking hurt, but you're gonna feel better a lot sooner than it is you're gonna be going through that cycle of denial of reality. Trust me, I know. So yeah, the first couple of days was really hard. I went no contact Monday. Let me give the day. I went no contact Monday the 15th. On the 18th, which was Thursday, my dad called me. Keep in mind, he called me last time. So if you've seen the previous video, my mom doesn't know how to respect boundaries. I, ignore her calls, ignore her texts. So then my dad gave me a call from a random number because his phone number's blocked. He left me some very, very gruesome, disgusting voicemails earlier this year that I'm not going to share because that's not okay. But yeah, no contact with my dad. That's not new. My siblings have no contact with him in the past. That's another thing. How come it's so acceptable for one parent to be no contact with one parent, but then when you realize the other parent is just as, toxic or abusive, I'm the bad guy for setting boundaries and respecting myself enough to say this is not okay, and, but yeah, I'm the bad guy. Okay. So, so last Monday I needed a favor. I don't want to say needed because that's something I've learned. I do correct my mom a lot. Like, I explain to her things that bother me or just to communicate. So she does say, like, Samantha, I need this, or Samantha, I need you to do this. And it's a pet peeve of mine because you need to breathe and you need to eat. You do not need blah, blah, blah. Can you? May you? Will you? Not need. And that's what I'm telling her. And even I catch myself saying, Mom, I need, and then I'll be like, can you help me? So I'm learning. It's like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, when I try to explain to her when I try to communicate my needs and wants, she sees that as a threat. She sees that as like, oh, I'm not good enough for you, or oh, look at and it's like, dude. So anyway, last Monday, we all know I don't have a car. Well, I was asking her if she could please take me to the bank, which was 10 minutes away, 12 minutes away. Or if she could provide Uber money that I will reimburse her for. Loan it now and I'll give it back. Again, I know I shouldn't expect things but at the same time, like, I'm really, really, like, what are my options here, So she started asking about, well, what are you going to do once you go to the bank and deposit this large sum of money you have? Well, what are you going to spend it on? And you're just going to waste it and it's going to be all gone. And it's kind of like, Mom, I'm 27 years old. Whatever I do with this money does not regard you. And that's when she started getting mad because she wanted fucking control. And that's when she was like, well, I paid for your Uber to go to the hospital twice. Are you going to give me back some of that money you owe me from this check? You're telling me because I had to fucking borrow money to go to the ER for my fucking life, you're complaining and you want the money back. Yeah, that's one example, right? Okay. That's actually called financial abuse. That we didn't talk about that today. But knowing that, knowing you're struggling in your circumstances and them choosing to hold it over your head or, teeter-totter with help, that's abuse. Because either you help or you don't. There shouldn't be any conditions or transactional whatever. Especially coming from your own mom. But anyway, so there's that. So then I kind of was losing my shit at that point. My alarm's going off. Hold on. Sorry about that. My phone was short. I have to do something right now. But what was I saying? Yeah, going back to Monday. So yeah, this was all the same conversation, right? So she's asking what I'm doing with the money because she wants control. I didn't give her that. Then she escalated to demanding me give her money that I don't even have. I have no vehicle. This check is basically my lifeline, and she obviously knows that. And right, we know we don't have a car, right? We know that. And so I was like thinking on the fly. I'm like, you know what? If you can't take me to the bank and I can't cash this check, why don't I give you the check and buy your car? Let me buy your 2012 Ford Fusion that has over 200,000 miles on it because I know you have your 2024 Nissan that you just bought. So you have a 2024 Nissan and a 2012 Ford Fusion. You know your daughter is struggling fucking to survive and, she wants to work. She needs to work, but, it's not working out. So when I offer you $2,000 to buy that car, you know what she said? I'm not selling you my car. Dead ass. Dead fucking ass like that. Dead ass. And that's how I fucking knew that no matter what I do or what's going to happen, this is going to continue. It's kind of like, how the fuck do you want me to succeed and be better and do better, but yet you're dangling over my head? Like, you help me and then you fucking make it like a burden that you help me. Like, no. And that's all the clarity I needed. That's all the reality I needed. And so, that's when she tried to do the guilt card. This time I was so fucking ready, dude. I grabbed the bull by the horns. She did the whole, oh, but look at everything I've done for you. Look at everything I do. And that's when I fucking was like, no. Stop right there. No, I'm done playing that fucking game. I heard that game before. I'm done playing that shit. And she started I don't know what was going on at that point, but she was like, well, don't call me anymore then. Don't call me. And the green light went off in my head. Ding, ding, ding. Mark your fucking words is the last thing I told her. And I hung up. And I blocked her then and there. Yeah, so that was Monday. Today's Tuesday of the next week. And like I said, my dad called Thursday in between, but he didn't leave a voicemail, which was a surprise. So then I blocked his number too, and did ask this past Sunday, I think it was. I had posted on Facebook. I have no family on Facebook. My brother saw my story. My whole, click story for the whole day. And that's what I'm talking about. What was that word again? That is called, there's a word, systematic surveillance. And that's why I brought up Canada. I know he's in Canada because the photos he shared. And honestly, I deadass think my sister kind of convinced him or, brainwashed him to, search me. And that makes sense because you're literally in Canada. You're literally watching my story. It's weird, right? Why randomly on a Sunday after, not answering my calls back to back, you're watching my story? Well, anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. I'm not, everything I'm saying is true. I'm not putting anybody on blast. This is dead ass what happened. It is what it is. If my perception is valid, your perception is valid, my opinion is valid, so is yours. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, if you're not really familiar with the other parts of the videos, go ahead and watch those first. Bye.